Well, hopefully you'll be able to hear me now. Let me just turn this up a bit. Oh, hello. Hello, YouTubers. Oh, hello, world. Let me just get myself framed. Andy, not quite sure what you said. No, you're not going to get 10 minutes of me doing whatever you think I'm going to do. You're wrong. No, I'm just going to allow people to get their feet under the table because we have lots to talk about tonight. Andy Turner. Hi, y'all. You're wrong. Brian Ravenscroft. What does that mean, Brian? No, I have a very furtive imagination. I need you to tell me, Brian. Andy Turner. Now will we get 10 minutes of Adrian? And that's not how you spell it, Andy. You're wrong. Norman Taylor. Welcome back, Adrian. Andy Turner. Will we get 10 minutes of upside down, left, right? Thankfully, Andy, I think I've cracked it, so to speak. To Bibi Stockholm Tracy. Bibi Stockholm Tracy. Good evening, Adrian. Nice to see you back, Mr. Allen. Oh, and Mrs. Allen. Yes, she made it back. Didn't leave any bodies in the Amazon. Not to push any cliffs to claim the insurance. Well, I did think it when we were on Machu Picchu, let me tell you, because it would take them at least half an hour before she hit the bottom. I would never do that. No, she's too precious. Anita James. Hi, Adrian. Hi, Anita. Sea Moon Maria. Hello, Adrian. Sea Moon. Good to see you again. Marcia Toms. Hello, Adrian. Welcome back home. Marcia, you're too kind. And thank you for being the first person on my two lives, the Sacsayhuaman. And look, I'm going to have to explain, Sacsayhuaman is not sexy woman. Although, and I will explain, Machu Picchu, you were there for both of the lives. I didn't tell anyone I was going to do them, although I did say before I went out to Peru that if I got chance and if it was okay with the brand new, spanking brand new, hang on, let's turn the phrase, maybe I shouldn't use, the brand new Mrs. Allen, the only one there will ever be, there's never been one before, apart from my mother, of course, Mama. What was I going to say? So yes, the two quick lives I did from Sacsayhuaman and Machu Picchu. Didn't think I was going to get to do Machu Picchu because the higher up you went, the less coverage. I mean, come on, you know, a mobile phone's going to be right at the very top of Machu Picchu. Do you think the Incas were like, oh, my bloody mobile phone don't work? So, well, we came down a couple of levels into the actual village itself, the ancient village, near to the observatory, or was it the Sun Temple? We got near there, and all of a sudden, bing, I had coverage. But the brand new Mrs. Allen was very kind in letting me. She sat there and just laughed at me. I mean, that's what wives do, isn't it, lads? They just indulge you. Clean version, you're on. Where am I? So, Marcia, thank you for being there. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Brian Ravenscroft. Oh, Brian, you were waiting. Brian was waiting. I was on the money. 8 o'clock. But cheers, Brian. Much appreciated. And Anita James again. Welcome back. Philippa Fraser. Welcome back. Thank you, Philippa. Talker 69. Welcome back, Adrian. Hope you had an amazing honeymoon. You wrongin'. Toka 69. I had, if Carlsberg did honeymoons, I literally had an epic honeymoon. And if you will indulge me tonight, I'm going to give you some stories. I'm going to tell you some of the background. Hey, those little Peruvians, can I just tell you, they're very gentle, they're very warm-hearted, they're very warm-spirited. But you try and get them out of a queue. Whoa! All elbows and knee pads. They're brilliant people, but just don't get in the queue with them. They don't take prisoners. Maybe they should have tried that when the Spanish conquistadors invaded. Only joking. To Paulie Galtieri. Now then, how's about that then? Paulie, you're such a wrong one. And Kathleen. Hi, Kathleen. Keith Thomas. Yagi da. Adrian. Poyok tad now te. or should I say touchdown Bob Sice, for those that know what I'm saying. Retro on his bike. So, hello, Retro, mate. How are you? Chucky, wait. Hello, Adrian. To L. Hopefully you're going to play well this season, L. Evening, Adrian. And Kaz987. Hello, I'm still here from the last live. Could not find my way out of the theatre of the mind. Kaz, you're very funny. And hang on, let me do Andy Turner, and then we're Simon John Lavender. Evening, Mr. and Mrs. Allen. Thank you very much, Simon. I do appreciate that. And I'm sure the missus does too. Although she will continue to be Mrs. Allen for the moment. No, I didn't know. I just as in, privacy. I can't just drag people into the public domain. They've never been in the public domain before. Terry Wookfit. Terry, good to see you. Evening, Mr. Ray. Welcome back. I do appreciate it, Terry. Thank you. Oh, hang on. I'm playing about with me mouse. Bibi Stockholm Tracy. Oh, you're so wrong. She might. And L, you've been married 5 minutes and you're already talking about bumping off. Shh. I'm joking. God blimey. It's taken all my life to find her. I'm not going to let her go that easy. She's downstairs in the bunker, tied to a chair. Anita James, how did the wedding go? Well, I was going to have to answer the question sooner or later. Has it been a month? Has it been a month? I think it's been a while. Anita, I'll get to that in a second. Welcome back, Junior Stevens. Thank you, Junior. Marcia Toms. It was fantastic to see the scenery. Oh, it was breathtaking. It was simply breathtaking. It was of such outstanding natural beauty. You could only just stand, look in awe. All of the cities that we visited. We visited Iquitos initially to go 2 hours up the Amazon. Bright idea was to get on a boat for 2 hours to go up the Amazon. Mine. No, actually, it was mutual. And so you fly into Lima from Madrid. So we went London, Madrid, Lima, and then we get into Peru, finally. And Lima was very interesting, but we landed. So we landed in Lima. We stayed a night, and then we flew into Cusco, which is the ancient, according to the Peruvians, Cusco. The old version was Qusqo, not the way they currently spell it, and it's just breathtaking. It's just breathtaking. I mean, I know that's not very descriptive, but it's such a beautiful place. And the thing that I loved the most, we stayed on this square in Cusco, like 2-minute walk from the river, and some great little restaurants. Before, I must preface absolutely everything to say that because we were doing ayahuasca in jungle, we had to be on a certain diet. So when you hear all of these celebs on the web going, oh, I've done ayahuasca. Yeah, I've done ayahuasca. I was off me nut and I was seeing things. What they don't tell you is that if you're going to a retreat, if you're going to do it properly, and we did 4 ayahuasca ceremonies, treatments, medicine in 5 days, you have to do certain things before you go out there. So before we went, remember the week before we were having a weekend wedding, which I will explain as we go on this evening. And there was no salt, no sugar, no alcohol, no touching. What else was there none of? No pork, no coffee, no... There was just like lots of no's. So to get the best experience, you couldn't indulge yourself. I haven't had a coffee for over a month. So there was no coffee, no salt, which is fine, no sugar. I'm addicted. And it was easier than you think. And then you kind of get out into Peru and they go, right, while you're here, no salt, no sugar, no alcohol. Take all the entertainment out of life. And we had 8 days at the retreat with none of that. And I've come back home after 3 weeks in Peru, and I'm really not hankering after a coffee. I'm a shandy drinking southerner. I'm drinking tea. Now I have to tell you a little tale. in Peru, they drink something called coca tea, the coca leaf. You can't bring it into the country, seemingly. You can't bring it into a lot of countries because is it what they make cocaine from? I've no idea. I've literally, in all my life, I've never as much as smoked a cigarette. I've not done anything. I've done no recreational ever in my life, and that's been a choice. So I get there, and they go coca tea. In Cusco, Cusco's really high. I think it's 3,500 meters. Yeah, 3,500 meters above sea level. Now, for a boy from Sunderland, that's a bit challenging. So, bit of a headache, a bit of kind of nonsense feeling, lightheaded, headache, a bit wheezy because it's a little harder to walk than at 3,500 meters above sea level. But they go coca tea, just drink coca tea. So all the Peruvians, it doesn't affect them because they're all drinking tea with coca leaves, not cocoa, COCA, the coca leaf, and it's amazing for altitude. So I don't know why they're not allowing people to take it out. You can buy coca tea bags on Amazon, but not the actual coca leaf. I don't know what they do or what they use it for, but I know you're not allowed to take it home. I would have brought a suitcase full because it's brilliant. It's amazing. Junior Stevens, great to see you back. Marcia, fantastic to see the scenery. Sharky White had Sunday lunch at the Lamley, new owners, lovely meal, fabulous. What happened to the old owners of the Lamley? Where did they go? Chris Sumner, welcome back. Yeah, wrong. Mad Matt UK, need to enunciate. First one back, always going to be a struggle. Adrian, I hope you and the Mrs. Allen had a great time. Great to see you back, and thank you for the live streams from Peru. I thoroughly enjoyed them. Mad Matt UK 123, thank you very much. I really enjoyed, for some bizarre reason, I really enjoyed them. Enjoyed doing them. Sacsayhuaman. I mean, everybody thought, oh, it'll be Adrian's accent, you know. He doesn't speak properly. It'll be sexy woman and he's winding us up. No, Sacsayhuaman, if I've pronounced that correctly, was actually an observatory. Celestial, if you wish. And it's just the energy there. I said before I went, I'm a Reiki master. So I've been working with energy for over 20 years, nearly 25 now. And when I walked into sort of the basin of Sacsayhuaman, it was just a beautiful feeling. Not quite sure what they did there. I don't think they did human sacrifice or any of that kind of malarkey. I don't think they buried any of their Inca gold. But it was a lovely, warm, beautiful day. Junior Stevens, back where you belong. What, in jail? Freudian slip. Simon Smedley, turtle meat is nice with fried armadillo. Simon, it was virtually meat-free, the retreat. And then when we came out, we had another 8 days. That's what I was going to tell you. So we had all these restrictions. Not really restrictions. You're just doing the thing that's best for you while you're having your ayahuasca. And San Peter, which is a cactus, seemingly. And they boil this cactus for like 12 hours the day before. I mean, can I ask you a question? Who'd have thought the little Peruvians would go, see that cactus there? I'm going to boil that, and whatever I come up with, I'm going to drink. I mean, were they mad? It's like the first person that looked at a cow and go, do you know, that thing that's under there, I'm just going to give it a tug, and I'm going to drink what comes out. Would you ever? So, these little Peruvians, come on, lads, let's boil that cactus. I don't know what they do, but don't worry, I'm going to tell you all about it. Let me just get this. Oh, there's so many comments. I'm lagging behind. So where are we? Yeah, let's get stuck in, because everybody's got the feet under the table. Are you ready? Hello, yeah, Rogan. Welcome to the Theatre of the Mind, darling. It's live stream number 25. There were a couple in Peru, but this is legitimately live 25. Don't forget the Battenberg. The next live is going to be this coming Wednesday. So we're now going to get into the routine of Sunday, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Maybe, but maybe we will start and do other nights too, because as you're now finding out, I'm used to doing 5 or 6 shows a week, live 3-hour phone-ins, 5 or 6 nights a week. Don't think that's ever been done on YouTube, but let's see where we go. We can only go with the audience that we have. So if you're here, please hit the thummy thing. Please hit the like, because it does help the channel with the algorithm. And so the next live, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Wednesday, the 13th of September. 13th of September. A couple of things going on. More interviews, please, Junie Stevens. Yeah, we're going to do that for you. We have so much planned, but I don't want to tell you now, because if I start telling people on here, other people will go, oh, that's a great idea, I'll do that. Because that seems to be the way on YouTube. Somebody doesn't, everybody goes, oh, I'll do that. I'm going to do things that you need talent for, and bring all of my skills, all of my toolbox from my 45 years in radio, and just put my ugly fizzog in the front, and then just try to entertain you. That's all I'm going to do. And bring you stuff that, well, some people might not be brave enough to tell you. I can give you facts because it's lived experience, and we will do our best to make sure that it's entertainment. While I was away, I did manage just a couple of times. Right, that should work. Had an alert from something else, and it wouldn't go off the screen, so I couldn't see what you were saying. Chris Mundy, did you see the new energy legislation Parliament sneaked through the other day? Now energy companies can use reasonable force to enter your house to fit smart meters. I think that's, is that the hair lip dog? Mart. The fit smart meters. Well, actually, it'll be interesting to see, because I only got back into the country very late on Friday. So yesterday was a bit of a sleepy day, bit of a recovery day. Today, similarly with this heat, although, do you know, in the Amazonian jungle, it's so much bloody warmer than anything the last couple of days while I've been here. But it's a different kind of heat. It's completely different. Here, it's oppressive. It's 100% humidity in the jungle. I mean, literally, walk out of your hut, soaked. So you just kind of give up. Here, it just makes you a bit chewy. Hang on, is that the right word? It just makes you a bit wound up. But anyway, so what? While I was in jungle, I wasn't in contact with the great news cycle. I wasn't in touch with it at all, so I probably missed a lot of it. But there was this one thing, and this is what I want to start on. GB Patriot, any opinion on ULEZ, Khan and the Blade Runners? Oh, yes. Let me write that down so I don't forget that. And legally, I also have to be very careful. Because it seems that Sadiq Khan doesn't care about anyone except himself. In my view, of course, this Daniel Khalif, or Khalif, or however you pronounce his second name, this guy that seemingly miraculously taped himself under a lorry, either a lorry or a van or something, and broke out of Wandsworth jail. Broke out. Seemingly he was chefing in the kitchen, just walked out, decided to, it's a northeastern word, clag himself under a lorry, and then legged it, and nobody knew where he went. But then a plainclothes officer, the local bobbies, the Met, I presume, had been tipped off that they were going to do some investigating in Richmond. And they were having a look around. Now, Chiswick, technically, is not far away from Richmond. I used to live in Richmond, in Surrey, in London. And somebody said, and there's been reportage in the news cycle, that he actually wasn't caught in Chiswick. He was caught in Northolt. Now, Northolt and Chiswick are miles apart. So this is a boy that they're saying is ex-army. He's been arrested and was being held until trial for terrorist offences. Okay, they're not really saying anything else. But then, according to, was it the Mail or the Express, that they were monitoring phones. Yeah, the Rozzers were monitoring phones, and that's how they caught him on his bike, coming back from Waitrose with his shopping. In my personal view, and I know a few things, it stinks. It stinks to high heaven. A guy that's ex-military, that would have military training, we're not sure to what level because they haven't really told us. We don't know whether he's Sandhurst or a grunt that's done basic military training. We don't know. But we know that he was clever enough to walk out of jail and escape. But he's dumb enough to hang around in Chiswick for 5 or 6 days and wait for the Rozzers to catch him. That stinks. Absolutely reeks. Now, I'm not going to say any more than that, other than, if it was you, what would you do? Not being a military person, what would you do? You'd get out of this country, PDQ. You wouldn't hang around. Oh, I'll go cycling along here. The Rozzers are not going to be here. And it was a plainclothes officer. Mind you, that was the day after 20 grand was offered for information. Plainclothes. Now, was he on duty or was he not? Off duty, he gets 20 big ones, 20 large ones. 20 grand, he's apprehended the boy. Pulled him off his bike. Yeah, toxicology. Good to hear from you, toxicology. Really appreciate it. I know I did the Dele Alli versus Hugh Edwards and read your comment out. And yes, I was aware that you'd been very Q for quite a while. So I was a little worried about you, but I've got no way of contacting you. But good to know that you're back, toxicology. Thank you. I thought it was odd that he was so local when he was found. I know. Adrian, this escapee story is all psyops. Maybe they wanted him to escape to see if he led them to accomplices. Well, he's gone to do his shopping at Waitrose. That's a bit posh for a squaddy. Waitrose? Thought he'd be a little or an Aldi man. But anyway, he was caught with his shopping from Waitrose. I mean, which bright spark breaks out of Wandsworth jail, works out that he can tag himself under a lorry and get out, and then all of a sudden, he's just hanging around for the Rozzers to catch him. Honestly. My nose stinks. Terry Wuckford, he was only a private. Forget all the garbage about SERE. What's that, Terry? The Met flooded the area with plod, both uniformed and plainclothes, as soon as they knew he was in the Northolt area. Now, that's a thing. Terry, can you confirm that it was Northolt? Because Northolt and Chiswick are not next door. Chiswick's just the other side of Kew. Richmond, Kew, Barley McGrew, Cuthbert, Dibble and Grubb. So Chiswick is just the other side of Kew. I'll start again. This is what, it doesn't make sense. And when I know that your instinct, whether it's Terry's, mine or yours, Kevin Iverson, I'd bugger off to Kent, wait for a dinghy and sail it back to France. Plenty of them, Kevin, plenty of them. But he would have worked this out. Even if he was a private, I don't know to what level he's been trained, but if he wanted out, and he did, and he got out, why didn't he stay out? Was he missing the 3 free meals a day? Why? And we don't even know what he's been charged with, if anything. Now he's being charged with escaping from jail. Hey, Blackmore, I'd go to Redcar. They definitely wouldn't find you in Redcar, Aid Blackmore. Norman Taylor, too much CCTV everywhere. They don't work. Norman, honestly, they don't. You go to some of the supermarkets. My sister was knocked over in a supermarket car park, and it's covered in CCTV. And they went for, obviously, to find out, and evidence being knocked over by this person that legged it as soon as they hit her. No, our CCTV don't work. Boy, honestly, don't think CCTV is going to cover everything. Half of it don't work. Oh, okay, Alan, thank you for that. Planting fake bombs at Stafford. He was a private in the Signals Regiment. Ooh, I know people that have been in Signals. That's a pretty good regiment from what I know. GB Patriot, if I was him, I'd have gone to Grimsby. No one would have think he'd gone there. It's like Hull. You get into Hull, you never come out again. Nobody will want to follow you to Hull. Seamoon Maria. How old are you, Adrian? Far too old. I'm not in my first flush of youth, that's for certain, Sea Moon. I'm old enough, it's got a big number in it, so I can't say it because it scares me. Terry Wookford, survival. Evade, resist, and extract. 2 strategies when evade. Clear the area and keep moving away, or hunker down and stay in the area till things quieten down. But if he was just going to hang about thinking, oh, they're not going to find me in Chiswick or Northolt, why are the newspapers getting that specific detail wrong? Most of them are saying Chiswick, but now it's coming out it's Northolt. Northolt is very different. It's near an RAF base. Very different to Chiswick. Chiswick's like, you know, all the lovely, the usual media hooers from London live in Chiswick. Lovely place, as is Kew, but my favourite's Richmond and Teddington and Hampton Court. Lived all around that area for a few years. Andy Turner, Northolt Air Base. It's like, you know, they say murderers always return to the scene of their crime. Do you think he's sort of gone to Northolt Air Base thinking, well, they're never going to look here. I've nicked off from Wandsworth. They're never going to look here. Oh, hello. What's your name? What do you mean? I've done that. Yes, you have. Come with me. I'll pull you off your bike. There's a gag there. You can make your own up. Mike Alligators. Hi, Adrian. Hope you're enjoying your married life. Of course I am. Of course I am. It's wonderful. She told me to say that, otherwise I'll get the frying pan over my head. No, I won't. It'll be the dishpan. So Daniel Khalif, it stinks. It just stinks. And they think that we're going to believe that. Hadaway and shite, man. James, the lovely Tom Hardy lives in Richmond. Well, he might live next door to me. Richmond Hill is one of my favourite, after Machu Picchu, obviously. Richmond Hill, where Mick Jagger lives. Mick Jagger bought 2 houses and knocked them together to make a massive mansion on the top of Richmond Hill. And Richmond Hill is just a breathtaking view. Any of the seasons, winter, autumn, summer, obviously, spring. It's just one of my favourite views. I don't know where Tom lives in Richmond, but nice place. Really, seriously, nice place. Simon John Lavender, very good. Perhaps he was going to tape himself to the undercarriage of a plane. Bit cold when you get up there, 38,000 feet. The Jacobite. Hey, Adrian, are you still in London? The Jacobite. No. What makes you say that? I've been to London, lived in London 2-3 times. I'm trying to think when. Certainly when I was working for LBC. And then before that, when I was with somebody else, she kind of lived in London. I moved down from Preston, moved in with her. I'll be gentle and kind. Close escape. Andy Turner lived in Northolt most of my life till I was 35. Nan lived in Chiswick, next door to Daly Thompson. He can chuck a javelin, can Daly. So that's that Daniel Khalif. I think it stinks. Don't know why. My instinct just says to me, it stinks. So we'll wait and see what's going on when the Crown takes him to court. Bibi Stockholm, another thing that, listen, this is, hand on heart, I was told this months ago. I was told when all the politicians were standing up in the Houses of Parliament and they were saying, oh, we're going to sort all the small boats, the flotilla of small boats coming over here, we're going to sort it. We're going to sort it as a priority. Have they? No, have they stuff. Little schoolboy Sunak, rich boy Sunak, you know, Mrs. who's got a couple of billion in the bank. He said, he said, I'm going to sort it. I'm going to sort it. Suella, where are you? Suella, sort it for me. I'm Prime Minister. You do as I tell you, Suella. Did she sort it? No, don't be silly. Are they going to sort it? No, don't be silly. And I was told before it went into service, they're going to find Legionnaires on there. They're going to find Legionnaires on the Bibi Stockholm and they're going to close it down. And I said, look, if you're that psychic, give me the lottery numbers for the weekend. I should have put them on. So I was told Legionnaires would be found on the Bibi Stockholm, and sure enough, Had to close it down, didn't they? Don't know how many was on there. Or the first one went on, oh, I love this. Oh, I love it. Yeah, brilliant. Love it. Love it. Love being here. So who pays for the Bibi Stockholm? Let me have a think. You do. The taxpayer. Me, you, and anybody else that pays tax. Unless, of course, you're a non-dom, like the Sunaks who've got... the missus lived in America, as did Rich Boy. Non-doms. That's not a sexual thing. That's non-domicile. It means they don't pay tax in this country. So they're dancing around as non-doms, saying, oh, right, the taxpayer can pay for this. But who wins? Who wins? Is it the economic migrants? Well, they might get some nice accommodation. Why aren't they kicking them out? They can't, because once they land on this soil, we have to give them a home. Me and you. Not the politicians, obviously, in their mansions. But who wins? Follow the money. Who made money from Bibi Stockholm or any of the others? And aren't our squaddies in the Falkland Islands housed on something similar? So they are giving the same accommodation to the economic migrants that are equivalent to our squaddies. Now you would, I mean, Falkland Islands, that's going to be a tough posting. But being on a ship like the Bibi Stockholm, I just want to know who's made money from this. Because somebody somewhere has. Now, legitimately, obviously, in my view, it'll be companies via companies via companies. And you won't be able to follow the money. But somebody somewhere has made cash from this. Or a business on their behalf has made money. Whether it be profitable or not, who knows? But I will say this. Somebody somewhere will have trousered some nice money from that. So let's get to the happy stuff. Mind you, I am going to talk about the Queen's anniversary. It was only 2 days ago, yearly anniversary. But I want to get to some of the stuff that I experienced in Peru. Because not too many people go to Peru. And the brand new Mrs. Allen and I are both fans of Graham Hancock. Big time fans of Graham Hancock. We love what he does. We have all of his books, Fingerprints of the Gods, etc. And we just wanted to go out and kind of see for ourselves stuff that Graham's talked about and some of the ancient aliens of, not the aliens themselves, obviously, the presenters of the program I've talked about. So the live at Sacsay, Sacsayhuaman, Sacsayhuaman, not sexy woman, yeah, wrong. It was just kind of, if you're in Cusco, it's about 20 minutes outside of Cusco. Take a drive up the mountain, hanging on for dear life. Now, I'm not great with vertigo. No idea why. None. It's a constant source of work for me. Look, I love skiing. How can I go skiing on the side of a mountain when I've got vertigo? Exactly. How can I go in a hot air balloon if I've got vertigo? Exactly. So I've got to do work. But getting there out of Cusco was fabulous. And Cusco is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so they can't change anything. So the brand new Mrs. Allen, the only one there's ever going to be, apart from me mum, she visited Cusco 30 years ago as a very, very young girl, and it was it's not changed at all. UNESCO, they won't allow you to change anything. So the UNESCO site, it's the Sacsayhuaman and Cusco is beautiful. I mean, it is breathtaking. The usual hawkers when you go abroad, they're there, would you buy, would you buy, would you buy? And you just have to very gently go, no, fuck off. I'm joking. No, you just say very gently, no gracias, no gracias. And they're very respectful of that, which I find most refreshing. The hawkers in Egypt are a completely different league. I mean, they're proper Premier League hawkers. I take you. No, it's fine. We're happy to walk. No, you get in my carriage. I take you now. Yeah, if you've ever been to Egypt, if you've ever been to Cairo, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The drivers in Lima are on par with the drivers in Cairo. And the drivers in Cairo, how they don't kill people, including themselves, I will never know. But Sacsayhuaman is such a beautiful place. Those stones. And do you know why those stones are built the way they're built? According to our guide, it's for earthquakes. So the stones are tied together. So if it starts to, if there's an earthquake, well, they just rattle a bit. Can you imagine the noise they're going to make? But they don't fall down. So that's why they've got all of these. And you know, I asked them why these megaliths are cut the way they are, and whether they've got 12 angles or 18 angles or 6 angles, what they... I'm going to... Jacobite, stop stirring trouble, you shite. Because she might read this. The Jacobite said, so you didn't do the modern man thing and take your wife's name? No. She's very happy to take mine. That's why she's the new Mrs. Allen. And look, it's a privilege for me. I never thought that I was going to meet anyone that was going to, A, marry me for a kick-off, and B, actually take my name. So for the new Mrs. Allen to take my name, it's a privilege for me. It is a privilege. So Sacsayhuaman, that's why they have the stones layered the way they are. They don't use anything in between them. Nothing. No mortar, nothing. They just create the stones and carve the stones and keep them in place. So there's any earthquakes? Don't fall over. Don't kill anyone. They just rattle a bit. I'm not sure I would want to be there when there's an earthquake to test that theory out. But that's why they did it. And it was they do have what they call a Stargate there, which everybody, it's the place to have your photograph taken, they reckon. And it goes up to an observatory. So Peru have some of the greatest observational skies in the world. It's the air is so pure, it's not light polluted. You can see Orion's belt. And I've only ever seen Orion's belt in Egypt, because it's southern hemisphere. It's not here in the northern hemisphere. But Sacsayhuaman is just breathtaking. Alan, school aero bar concrete would last longer. Well, I want to get to that concrete thing during this live. Why? Because I don't know what's going on. It seems like all the buildings in this country are crumbling. All the schools, all the government buildings, everybody's going, oh, concrete. Well, hang on a minute. Why didn't they make the concrete properly in the first place? Andy Turner, 20 minutes from Costco. Cusco, not Costco, you're wrongin'. Wrongin'. Cusco, not Costco, mind you. Wouldn't mind a chicken. That is very clever. PGC net. You're not afraid of heights, you're afraid of falling. Correct. Now let's get the Machu Picchu. The money shots on my Facebook of Mrs. Allen and myself. And I will tell you this. Machu Picchu is bloody high. It is... Well, it's so high that my legs weren't working properly. I mean, I don't know whether the new Mrs. Allen enjoys her adrenaline sports, but she loved it to bits, me. I had to be convinced. But it wasn't necessarily actually being in Machu Picchu, because there's 2 Picchu mountains that this village, and it was named, I knew I was going to forget his name, Hiram Bingham. Hiram Bingham discovered it, and he was the first person to discover it with a camera. There had been other people up to the heights that had found it, but the one credited with finding Machu Picchu barely 100 years ago was Hiram Bingham. And it is proper high. I mean, proper. It's in the Andes, for goodness sake. So it's very high. You're at the top of mountains. You're literally on eye level with other mountains. And if you've been there, please tell me, because I'd love to know your experience. And it wasn't necessarily the Machu Picchu height that got me. It was the 25-minute bus journey up there. Now, literally, you're on the side of a mountain, 1 in 2, 1 in 1. I mean, it was, how my bus stayed on the side of that mountain, I have no idea. I literally found an instant cure for constipation. It was, I've never been on a bus journey like it, nor do I want to again. And I had to be convinced to come back down the side of that mountain on a bus. And it's, I'd had a look at, I I had a look at some news. I just Googled, has anybody died on Machu Picchu? And sure enough, a year before, one of those buses had come off the road, killed a couple of Colombians and seriously injured 14 people. Now, if I'd seen that before I'd gone to Machu Picchu, there's absolutely no way in high heaven would I have gotten A, on that bus, or B, go up to Machu Picchu. Because I literally, it has to be one of the most terrifying things I've experienced in my life. And I've experienced a bit of thing, quite a bit of things. And the hairpin bends with other traffic coming down. It's about that wide. It's a narrow track, just enough. And it's one of those bouncy buses. You ever been one of those bouncy buses where it just bounces all the time, all over the place? And you think, how's he controlling this? How's he steering this? The new Mrs. Allen, not a care in the world. It's simply not a care in the world, mate. Should have worn me brown trousers. But that bus ride singularly has to be one of. When I got up there, I literally got off the bus thinking, how the hell am I going to get off this mountain? How am I going to be able to do that again? Because it just was. I mean, it doesn't affect some folk. There's lots of things that don't affect me. I don't. Fear tends to be height for me. That's the only thing in my life. Everything else, well, I can handle it. Handle it with aplomb. But Machu Picchu, as breathtaking as it is, as wonderfully magical as it is, it's high, and the bus ride up there is insane. But as Churchill once said, KBO. So let me get to tell you about ayahuasca, because it seems to be, Prince Harry's done it, Joe Rogan's done it, lots of people have done ayahuasca, and a lot of people kind of, Georgina Bryan, Georgina, thank you, you're very kind. Yes, I have. It was that bus journey. Not a joke. It was the plant medicine in the jungle. So we land in Iquitos, and we get picked up from Iquitos, and there's little tuk-tuks everywhere. It's like wacky races everywhere, little tuk-tuks. And I thought they were wonderful. They were such good fun. I would literally ride around my estate on a little tuk-tuk, having the best time of my life if I could get hold of one. They're just wonderful. And so we go to a retreat called Kawsay, Kawsay. Google it, it's beautiful. Kawsay, and the owner and staff, William is the owner. And we land on the Saturday, and we have lunch early doors, about 12, because when we get to the retreat, we're having our first ayahuasca ceremony that night. Nobody knows. There was 11 of us. Nobody knows what we're doing, what we're going to experience. And it's kind of the unknown. All the things that I've seen online, and it had been on my radar for quite a few years. You know, I'd seen Rogan talk about it. I'd seen others talk about it, except Prince Harry. Oh, I've done ayahuasca. Yeah, and everything else. Harry, mate. And it's very good for, they tell me, it's very good for depression and anxiety and PTSD. I can understand why, because it just, you end up meeting yourself, in essence. But the ayahuasca, so you have to take it on an empty stomach. So you have lunch, and you have the ayahuasca ceremony somewhere between 6 and 7 in the evening. And what they do is the shaman. Now, we were with 3 generations of shaman. There was Don Romulo, who's the old boy, who's the granddaddy of it all. He must be, they said he was 86, but I reckon he was older. And the shaman, the medicine men, have to, they all learn from being very young. All of these shaman learned from about being 6 or 7 year old, learned all the plant medicine, learned everything, and grew in the jungle. They have to go out into the jungle for 30 days with nothing. They're allowed 1 fish a day. And that's how they survive for 30 days. They go into a little hut, and that's it. Dale Steele, Adrian, been on the DMT? Yep, 4 times in 5 days. Well, actually, 6 times in 6 days. And so the 3 shaman were beautiful souls. And the ayahuasca ceremony lasts about 6 hours. The reason being, it's about 45 minutes up, hangs around for about an hour, hour and a half-ish. So you get the hit. I got the hit instantly. I got it instantly. I've never done any recreational in my life. I've not as much as smoked a cigarette. I'm really not interested. I'm as mad as a box of frogs as it is, without anything else helping me along. So I've never, and you know, radio's awash with various stuff. And I know that I have friends that have been in and out of rehab because of stuff that they've been taking to get them on air and be entertaining. And that saddens me. But, so I took my first one, hit almost instantly. I started seeing the visions, started tripping off. But this is a retreat. This is a medicinal retreat. This is not some, you know, get off your nut. This is medicinal. So we take it, it kind of kicks in. Now there's something called the Purge. And if anybody's done ayahuasca, you will know what I'm talking about. Dale Steele, wow, would love to do that. Stay with me, Dale, because I'm going to tell you, ayahuasca is not the thing. It's not the thing. It's being made to be so by social media stars, by other people saying that ayahuasca's it. Ayahuasca, you see stuff, you do. Well, you do. They say, oh, you see. Exactly, Terry. Terry Wookford says, puke till you are clean. That's exactly it. The ayahuasca plant is a medicine. And what it does is it cleans you energetically. It cleans you completely out. And there's 3 types of purges. Yes, you can be sick, so they give you a bucket. There's a bucket in front of you if you want to chuck up. Terry, you are correct. If you want to chuck up, just chuck up into the bowl. I mean, look, back in the Northeast, you only do that to make room for more beer. So you'd throw up outside, go back in, start again. So I have been used to up chucking a few times when I've been on benders in my youth. And it cleans you. But there's 3 types of purge. There's the throwing up, which a lot of people do. But that's why you do the diet before you go out there. So it starts to clean you. No salt, no sugar, no alcohol, no coffee, no pork, lots of other things. No medicinal stuff. And there's 2 others. One is what I got, yawning. I literally was yawning my head off thinking it was going to crack open. And I couldn't work out. I was like, is it the heat? I can't work out what, I'm not tired. Why am I yawning so big? And the other one is the one that got me. Because night 1, I collapsed. It was the heat. Now, I'm from Sunderland. I can't handle like this heat the past few days. Unless I'm somewhere cool, I'm all unnecessary. And I said to them, so it's very good, Kevin. Is that Ayahuasca in the Northeast? Yeah, Kevin. Back in my youth, of course, when it was 4 pints an hour, every hour, but less than 4%. So I got the heat, then it was just awful. And we were told before we went in, if you need the toilet, just shout baño, which is Spanish for toilet. I didn't know that at the time. I thought it was some magic word. So the guy next to me shouts, baño. I was like, oh, that, yeah. I'm literally unable to handle the heat coming out of my skin. So I shouted, baño, and I was literally helped out of what's called the Maloca, which is a circular building where we held the ceremonies. And I get to the toilet, and I'm thinking, I just needed some fresh air. I'm fine. Didn't need the toilet. What is baño? Don't need the toilet. So I kind of walked out, and the owner came out and he said, you okay, Adrian? I said, yeah, I'm fine. I've overheated. I know what this is. I know how to handle it. I just need to go back to my hut because it was on stilts. And the reason it was on stilts is because this was the dry season we were in. It's going into the rainy season. When it goes into the rainy season, the waters literally rise like 20 feet. So you can boat up to the retreat itself. Otherwise, while we were there, it was a 12-minute walk. So the ayahuasca is, yeah, you see things, you see visions, you hear voices. But night one, I was flat. So they took me back to my hut, put a cig bucket next to me, and and said, right, see you in the morning. And the treatment is, so that's part of the medicinal treatment. But the reason why and you see, no one tells you this. I don't know what form of ayahuasca they're taking. Some people, we met this guy afterwards in the hotel pool who said, oh yeah, some of they call them brujos. They put it in, they make it extra strong so that you see things, so that the DMT really kicks in. But this was a medicinal retreat. It was about medicine. It was about plant medicine. It was about healing. So that was night one. We did Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday on ayahuasca the first week, and it's fine. I didn't throw up at all. I think because I eat quite cleanly. I look after myself. Although I'm a bit of a fat lad, I still look after myself. But other people there were. Terry Wookford, deep question for you, Adrian. The purging is to clear negative energies. Does that mean you've been a bad boy? Opposite, Terry. I mean, there was other. We're in a real bad state. There was one guy sitting next to me. We're all in very comfortable chairs. The guy next to me, I can't see. And I was like, well, it is dark. No, he literally lost his eyesight temporarily. So the shaman came across and worked on him. There was Don Romulo. They reckon he's 86. I reckon he's closer to 150. In the nicest possible sense, of course. He was such a cool guy. And what he doesn't know about plant medicine, just amazing wealth of knowledge. Then he's got his son there, young Winnister, who's in his 50s. And then they've got the grandson, Winnister Jr., who also is a shaman. So the three of them, their body of knowledge is unprecedented. So they had to, when I collapsed and I was taken back to my hut, they had to do some stuff with me. And so I'd only been in there about 2 hours, and it knocked me sideways. But clean energy, I was all good with that. But it was a very, very, very unusual feeling of being completely out of control, being completely delirious. And I was looked after amazingly by William and his staff and the shaman, who said, no, you'll be okay. Because obviously they've seen people go through ayahuasca and San Pedro and can see whether you're able to handle things, can see whether you're progressing through. And all of us, by sort of ayahuasca 4, fewer people were throwing up, not as much. So the energy, they were cleaning themselves. So for me, and this is my experience, ayahuasca medicine cleans you. And it cleans you for what we did on the Friday. A 12-hour ceremony, San Pedro. San Pedro is a cactus. And ayahuasca and San Pedro cactus, these are plant medicines from the Amazon jungle. I was told that they had a cure for the Charlie Oscar Victor India Delta 19. They had a cure for it. When it all kicked off, they went to politicians and they said, look, we've got this. This will cure that. Nobody listened. Obviously, plants in the Amazon's not going to make you much money, is it? The Cauce retreat is one of, I'm told, about 85 centers around Peru. There's more in Ecuador and Brazil. It seems to be a Western go-to at the moment. It's right on the crest of a wave at the moment. There were 11 of us, and we had people from Greece, a couple from the US, Spain, Germany. We had 3 Brits, 2 Canadians, and a Slovakian. So it was really a United Nations, and we all bonded wonderfully. It's a 2-hour boat ride up the Amazon. You've got to change one boat, walk 15-20 minutes through a village to get to another boat and go up another river. It was wonderful. What a wonderful experience. So 4 ceremonies, all 6 hours, all in 5 days. Then you get to San Pedro. And let me tell you, for all those social media commentators that are saying ayahuasca is this, it's just there to clean you out. San Pedro is the daddy. San Pedro will give you an experience like no other. They called it after St. Peter. Not quite sure why, but San Pedro, St. Peter. And it's a cactus. And I've never felt anything like that. Oh, interesting, Terry. Another daft question, Adrian. Did you self-treat with Reiki during your honeymoon? No, not allowed to. So the retreat said, don't bring any other energies because we're doing energy work. And I said, look, I'm a Reiki master. I do quantum touch and I do shiatsu and I do tuina. Can I do any of that? And they said, no, don't bring any other energy. Don't bring your martial arts energy. Don't bring your Reiki energy into the Maloka. Leave it outside. We will take care of you. And the San Pedro, it's 6 hours up, 6 hours down. And I'm trying to work out how much detail I can go into. But I will say this, I don't remember anything. I know it's the daddy because of what I experienced. But I'm very hesitant to give you what I experienced. Some of the others were sitting on they said on the edge of the Garden of Eden. They were there. They were having a pretty good time of it. Some people had because San Pedro, you meet yourself. You find out who you are. That's all I'm going to say. For me, I can't remember anything. I can't remember anything. Not because I don't want to tell you, it's because of the profundity, the insane level of awareness. I get the love everywhere, everybody, everything, all of that, the oneness, as deep as you want to go. And maybe I will remember, but it was quite traumatic because of what the others told me I experienced. So I got all the symbolism. I got one of the ayahuasca things they say that through DMTs you see lots of eyes. I did. It was like meerkats. There was like loads of meerkats just blinking and looking at me. I got. I went into space and I was up around Orion's belt. It was all in gold, and call it Madre Ayahuasca, Mother Ayahuasca. You see, it sounds as if I'm a bit mad here, but it genuinely was an experience. And I had Mother Ayahuasca speaking to me. And she showed me something. And I said, what's that supposed to mean? And she said, I think you know. No, she said, you know. And I was like, I don't know what that is. I'm asking you. I want to know whether I'm going to be a multimillionaire, whether I'm going to ride about in jets and I'm going to travel all over the world. I want to know what my life's going to be. This is deeply spiritual work. Adrian's operating on an inappropriate level, considering the depth of it all. And she said, you know. And I said, getting me argumentative head on, I don't know what you're talking about. She said to me, like when a mum would cross her arms and start tapping her feet and you know you're in trouble. She said, oh, I think you do. I thought, well, right, all right, I'm going to leave this alone. I'm in trouble here. And she gave me some other stuff. And afterwards I thought, is this just me, coming off salt and sugar and coffee and alcohol and pork? No touching. I'm on my honeymoon. So, I don't know. My take on it is this. Anybody telling you that ayahuasca is all that, it's meant to cleanse you. So when you've seen people or videos online who've gone, whether it was Aubrey Marcus or Brian Rose, London Real, there's a boy. All of that. There's 11 of us. There was 3 of us sitting together who never threw up. But I would say that anybody that's going thinking of going to South America and doing this, choose wisely. And it's about the cleansing of self so that you can meet yourself spiritually. Not this organized religion stuff, none of the kiddie fiddling nonsense in Rome. No, none of that. They're the most evil entity that's ever been on the face of the earth. But I would say that I profoundly met myself, understand myself a little more, and I know that I found myself. And I know that I've been cleaned of certain energies. I know that the retreat was good for me. The food was insane. It was very clean. You're in the Amazon. You're literally... Cusco is the navel of the world, but the Amazon is almost the larder of the world. And the food was just wonderfully, wonderfully clean. And we went off to see a tribe, one of the indigenous tribes, and they brought guava and literally just dragged it off the trees. Put it on the table, hacked it open, there you go. There was lots of seeds in this guava, I think that's what they called it. And we just kind of honked this white stuff, which was wonderfully tasty and sweet. So, as I say, San Pedro was 6 hours up, 6 hours down. At the end of the 12 hours, they take you into the dining room to have a bowl of soup, chicken soup for the soul, I think you may find. And all I can say is, don't believe everything that you see on social media. I'm like you. I did my inquiring, I did my seeking, and I found it. And what I found was me. But as I say, Adrian, did you cry on it? Like, cry not because you're sad, more overwhelmed. Yeah. I absolutely sobbed. But that came out Ayahuasca 2. That was when I realized that all there is love, really. And I'm hoping that what I learned about myself, I can bring in an entertaining way to this channel, because it's deeply profound. And we'll just see how things go. But who would have thought? See that cactus over there, lads? Like, just grab it and we're going to boil it and then we're going to drink it. And then you just go off to the cosmos and meet yourself. Simon Smelly, you can make ashtrays from armadillo shells. Look, day one, we walk in and we're getting the 50p tour. And the 50p tour has a tarantula just hanging about in the little gym that they had there. 50p tour, there's a tarantula. Now, that's the first time I've ever met a tarantula, whether it be in the wild or in a cage. That certainly wakes you up. And there was a tarantula living in the ceiling of one of the rooms. But it's the Amazon, for goodness sake. There was all kinds, snakes, cockroaches, big spiders, tarantulas. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to bite you. Didn't like the cockroaches, but it's the jungle. What are you going to do? Are you going to say to the tarantulas, no, you can't live here? It's in the jungle, man. So I'll put a link on this video and other videos to Cauce. I believe the work that they're doing there is profound. I believe that the work that they're doing there is needed in the West because we have so many ailments. There's a... Terry Wookfoot, they will bite if you try and play with them. Oh, I'm sure if you upset them, they jump as well. I met a couple of tree frogs, which were big tree frogs with, you know, the big pads on the end of their... and I thought they were beautiful. Not while I was doing the medicine, but I just thought that they were beautiful and would quite happily handle them. But I was mentioning the brujos earlier who make the ayahuasca strong with DMT. There is a frog that you can lick the DMT off the back off. I mean, maybe they've been doing it for millennia, but who would have thought? See that frog there? I'm going to lick it. It is beyond me. So let's quickly ramp through. Thank you for everyone's comments, but that is my experience. If you want to do it, do it. But be prepared to meet yourself. And that sometimes is the hardest thing to do. It's not about getting off your nut. It's about healing. And I believe that some of my demons have been healed. Some of the stuff in the background, and maybe one day I'll tell you some of the stories. But I jailed one of my demons for 36 years. Very bad man. Very, very, very bad man. So I met my demons and dealt with them, which was all wonderful, and that's all I wanted to do. Put my intention into the bowl that I drank from, and it was an epic experience. Very quickly, want to refer to Anita James. Would you go again? Oh, I bet you're sweet, Bibi, but it is quite expensive, very expensive. It was worthy of a honeymoon. I'm not sure when I would be able to afford it. That kind of money is, if you're seeking and seriously seeking, you will go. And would I go again? If I could afford it, tomorrow. Queen's anniversary. Now I remember this time. Terry, thank you. I am. What they took out of me, so to speak, metaphorically, has changed me completely. The only thing I will guard you against is don't go with a partner. Don't. I couldn't handle the new Mrs. Allen and what she and I and everybody went through. It's very difficult. Very, very, very difficult. Anyway, you're wrong uns. Thank you, Anita. Yeah, I'd go again tomorrow. And thank you, Terry, for all your comments this evening. Queen's anniversary. Now, around about this time, can you remember a year ago? What was happening a year ago? Theatre of the Mind was kicking off, starting, and, who was it that was being jailed? He's not escaped yet. But around about this time, we also lost our dear Queen Elizabeth the Great. And 8th of September, which will have been Friday when we came back. And it's having been able to take a step back and experience some very profound things, being able to take a step back and coming back into the grubbiness that is mainstream media in this country. I look at this now thinking, what the actual? Do these people think that we're taking this bullshit? Harry, my wife's going to cheer Nigeria on at the Invictus Games. Harry, fuck off, mate. Don't you get it? We don't want your bullshine anymore. Well, I can see right through it. So, what's her name, Megan? So why isn't she supporting the Americans? She's born in California. Why? Oh, she's going to support the Nigerians. Oh, little agenda there, is there, Harry? Not mentioning your gran on her anniversary. Now, Meghan's had her DNA checked. She's from Nigerian descent, seemingly. I think you'll find she's American. She's from California. And it's the same as choosing your football club. You can't live in London and support Manchester United because it's in Manchester. I'm from Sunderland. Yeah, she's only 25% the Jacobite. Yeah, I get that completely. But there's an agenda here. Can you not see it? See right through these people. They've got an agenda going on. They're not authentic. I come back and I've started reading the newspapers and I felt like I needed to go and have a shower. The grubbiness of what the reportage in the news cycle. There's now going on. They're just making it up. It's all lies. So Harry, I'm at the Invictus Games. I better mention the wife. Terry, where's Usworth? Is that Carlisle? So where's Harry's DNA, by the way? Because I'm telling you this, if Mrs. Allen decided that she wanted to have her DNA done, she would say to me, in a heartbeat, do you fancy having your DNA done? Well, I know my DNA. I've traced, on my dad's side, we've been able to trace us back 1,200 years. We were sheep shaggers and horse thieves in the borders. On my mum's side, we got back to the Vikings and Rollo, 750. So I'm English through and through for hundreds of years. In fact, thousands of years. We ended up, I think there's a Knight Templar in my mum's side. There's kind of landed gentry. I don't know where I went off. I must have been the runt of the litter. But there's landed gentry, there's parliamentarians, there's all kinds in my family. But the new Mrs. Allen would say, do you fancy having it done? Go on, me and you together, 2 for 1. And I'd go, yeah, of course. Now, can you imagine Harry saying to Meghan, yeah, I'll have me DNA done. Oh, can you imagine that bombshell? There's at least 6 blokes named that could be his dad. And then his dad's come out. Sorry, Prince Charles has come out. Sorry, King Charles has come out. Slip of the tongue. And he's gone, oh, I wish we'd had a girl. Harry, if you want to be a girl for your dad, the king, just wear a dress, mate. It's acceptable nowadays. If you choose to be a woman. But where's his DNA? Because Meghan will have had it done. Oh, go on, Harry. I'll give you a promise. You can be on a promise tonight. Do your DNA. If she's got that in her back pocket, can you imagine? It would be nuclear. But she says she's 25% Nigerian. Her dad's not. And can you help me? A couple of other things. Can you help me? Exactly, Alan. That's why I've said it. What's going on with the concrete? I don't understand. So people have built schools, built government buildings, built all these, and all of a sudden, as I'm coming back and trying to look at the news without wincing, concrete don't work seemingly. Well, have a word with the Incas, because they build it with stone. We build with bricks. We have done for 3,500 years. It was the Egyptians that built the first brick. Although look at their pyramids. They've lasted thousands of years. So if you want to build a building, aero bar concrete. That is funny, Alan. GB Patriot. Adrian, don't forget the son Camilla has adopted when she was younger, lives in Australia now. I wonder who his dad is. Oh, I kind of heard that, GB Patriot. I'd love to meet Camilla. Just so I can shake her hand and go, why the long face? But this concrete, I mean, oh, you think it's asbestos, not the... Andy Turner thinks it's asbestos, not the concrete. So why are they saying it's the concrete? Because I'm very nervous about politicians saying, oh, Houston, there's a problem and we need to fix it. So what do? Knock the schools down, stick them in huts, mud huts, been doing that for thousands of years. Knock them down, build them again. Andy Turner, yeah. It could be asbestos, could be fear. I don't know what they're doing. But as I say, I'm very nervous when politicians come out and saying, we're going to sort this. Hang on. Small boats. Rich boy. Small boats. Suella. Oh, we'll stick them on the Bibi Stockholm. Oh, no, we can't do that. What can we do? Send them up to Scotland. Nicola Sturgeon said she'd happily have them. Let them live in her house. I've just had about 5 comedy moments go through my head and I can't see any one of them because there's stuff going on. But when they've got a plan, I worry. Who's making the money? Who? Because politicians are in politics, not for the greater good. They're in politics to fill their trouser pockets. They are in politics to stick their nose in the trough, get their snout in the trough and make money. That's what it's about. It's power and money. It's not, well, you know, we've got 3,000 schools that need rebuilding. It'll be, ooh, who can make money from this? And I've read today's newspapers and I wouldn't use them for me chips. Annabelle Croft. Now, bit of a tennis player in a time. And sadly, her husband of 30 years died in May. Now, for a man that's been recently wed a month ago, even being married a month, if Mrs. Allen, God forbid, if anything happened to her, I don't know how it would be. But now, but Annabella Croft is on Strictly. So I'm seeing the headlines. I've wept every day since my hubby died. How weird, man. Column inches. Why use that? How can you use the death of your husband to get yourself in the paper? Because it publicises Strictly. That's the game. And I have my doubts. If I was a friend of Annabelle's, which I'm not, but if I was, I would have said, I'm not sure this is a good idea to be on one of TV's biggest shows to get over the death of your husband. It might work. Who am I? But your husband dies a couple of months ago in May, and you go on Strictly to get over it. One of the biggest TV shows with the biggest audience. And then you're in the newspaper saying, oh, I've wept every day. Oh, it's grubby, man. It's grubby. This whole press thing, it's grubby. Journalists, I wouldn't pee on them if they're on fire. And then we've got the story that you need to watch, and watch how it will disappear. A Commons aide has been held on a China spy charge. Now look, I've been to cities around the world where there are more Chinese than there are indigenous population. Prima facie evidence for the prosecution, my lord. Vancouver. Go to Vancouver. I was there in 2021. Before, it was like the January before all the unnecessary. 2019. You go to Vancouver, blimey! There's loads of Chinese there, but why would there be loads of Chinese there? Are they studying? Are they studying at university? Or all the Chinese spies? Don't know. Really have no idea. But when you find that they've now found a Commons aide and they're being held on a China spy charge, right in the heart of our politics and our politicians. But do you know, what are they going to do? The whips in Parliament know everybody's peccadillos. They know who's taking gear. They know who's having sex with young boys and young girls and who are doing very illegal stuff. They know all of that. So just get a spy in the whip's office. That's how you'll get everything. And then the Chinese, who own most of America's debt, by the way. So if China ever calls in America's debt, America's a busted flush. It's bankrupt. It's spent more than its GDP. GB Patriot, interesting. Adrian, earlier in the year I was in Cape Verde and every shop on the high street was Chinese owned. No coincidence. Cape Verde is a hub for recreational smuggling. I mean, but right in the heart of our politics, right in the heart of Parliament, the Palace of Westminster, and seemingly they found a spy for China in there. Not Chinese, but a spy for China. A very quick headline. There's a shoplifting crime in this country every 2 seconds. And I know before I went away that California had just passed a bill that if someone stole from your shop and it was less than worth $950, they weren't sending the police. And now they're saying in this country, shoplifting crime every 2 seconds. Now, one of two things is going to come from this. Either it's a story plant and there's no such thing, and the Tories are going to ride in with the usual Tory rhetoric. Well, we'll jail them all, flog them, and we'll put them in the army. We'll bring back conscription. That's what they usually say. Maybe that's a setup for them to do that before the general election, which is not too far away. Or there genuinely are people out there just thieving left, right and centre. and costing businesses a lot of money. Are they wanting to do the business down so the businesses are going bankrupt? There's a very dark agenda happening in the background, and this mainstream media feeds it. Feeds it. Question for you, because I've got about 5 minutes left, I reckon. And please, if you've enjoyed anything that we've done tonight, just hit the thummy thing, hit the like. I really would appreciate it. And anything that you want to respond with, please do comment, because I will read them all once I've finished this live. This morning, the programme is Holly Willoughby back on the telly. I understand that Scoof has decided to unfriend her. I'm not quite sure which social platform it was. Definitely wasn't Facebook. Was it Instagram or Twitter or something? Or X? And let me make a prediction. X is going to be the go-to social media platform in, give it 12 months. At some point in 2024, it will be the #1 social media platform. Musk is no fool at all. But this morning, anybody watching? Is anybody watching Alison Hammond? Is it a busted flush? I've not seen it. I've not seen the triumphant return of Holly Willoughby, who's not friends with Philip Schofield anymore, or he's certainly not friends with her. But there's Alison Hammond. Wasn't she sitting with Dermot O'Leary, and when talking about Scof, she said, "Oh, my mum said, let the Bible be your moral compass, Alison." And I thought to myself, isn't it the same book that she's got to use as her moral compass that says, man shall not lie with man? I'm quoting the good book. And I thought, so if she's using it for a moral compass, why hasn't she gone to Schofield and gone, man shall not lie with man, Philip? God might strike you down with a plague of frogs. I met 2 of them in the Amazon. And Romans. The Romans used to say, I mean, they were the most powerful force on planet Earth at one point. The Romans used to say, and I'm not sure if I'm quoting directly, women for procreation, men for recreation. And then I read in either the press today or yesterday that, Philip's kissed and made up with his wife. She's kissed those same lips. Women for procreation, men for recreation. Is that Schofield's mantra? So, what did he call them? Playtime Thursdays. And last one. It's all about the money, Your Honour. Rich boy Sunak. I saw him in a picture today standing next to Joe Biden. Well, I'm not sure it was Joe Biden because I'm sure he's got body doubles. But I heard a rumour, and, you know, I'll offer this to you, see whether you agree or not. But Joe Biden's going to step down in August, citing health reasons. This is what I'm hearing. I don't, the source is a very, very good source. But I'm not sure whether this could be true, but we will only know by watching. Just watch. Joe Biden's going to step down as president in October, meaning Kamala Harris becomes president of the United States. And you think Donald Trump's not going to get into power? It's just clown world. It's a circus. It's clown world. Kamala Harris, nobody likes her. There's some stuff that I'm told might come out about her if she just end up in the White House. No, well, she's the president. She'll just squash it all. And there was Rich Boy Sunak standing next to Joe Biden. And he looks like a spitting image puppet. He's cockeyed. He's about 3'6", that boy. Schoolboy Sunak. So I looked at him and thought, has he had his GCSE results yet? And he's done a deal with the country of his heritage for billions. And I thought to myself, hang on, this Tory party can't fill potholes, but can fill their pockets with billions. So, you know, when you're working your back off, when you're working all the hours God sends to make a few bob, and then the taxman goes, thanks very much. It goes to these clowns in Clown World in London for them to start doing deals for billions. I want to know who's making money from these deals. Because look, remember the Armageddon alarm that didn't work? Sunak's wife's company had a hand in all that. Made money. Non-doms, remember? It is just a farce. So, lastly, I can't remember who asked, but it was much, much earlier in the comments. Adrian, what about you, Les, Blade Runners and Khan? Here's the deal. Sadiq Khan was elected by the electorate. If the electorate don't like what he's done, don't elect him next time. Get rid of him. He's a Labour Party boy. Just get rid of him. He was a non-dom. Sadiq Khan didn't pay his taxes. You do. You're getting taxed to the hilt when you drive into London, whether it be the ULEZ, whether it be congestion charge, and the Blade Runners. I can't condone people committing criminal acts. I won't, and I can't. But if there was a Blade Runner near me, I wouldn't stand in his way, her way, anybody's way. If that's what they want to do, on Sadiq Khan's head, be it. And remember this about the politicians. They're all working to the global agenda now, not the UK agenda. They don't care. They know it's busted. They know politics is busted. They know Klaus Schwab has all the power. They know. So they know they're trying to make as much money as quickly as possible because by 2030, all this is going to be done. They're already talking about 15-minute cities. It's all going to be done. They're all buying up great swathes of land around the world, and land is going to be the currency. If you're rich, buy land, not Bitcoin. And Ulez, he's overstepped the mark. I think there's a real groundswell of opinion that Sadiq Khan needs to be gone. The Tories need to be gone. Labour should never be in power again after what they did to the economy. And that's coming. They all believe that Sir Keir Starmer is going to be the next Prime Minister. That may be so. I believe that it's going to be a hung parliament. I think the electorate are intelligent. They've had enough of the last 30 years. Tony Blair, things can only get better. And then he takes... No, I can't tell you that. I'll definitely get into trouble. But young Tony, it's not as clean as he would like you to think he is. And you, Les, stand up, be counted. We're not going to take this anymore. We, the collective, have had enough. To any of the politicians, we've had enough. And we're coming for you. Because you work for us, not the other way around. And you should be working for the greater good of society, not your own personal ambitions. Charles Linton, Bow Street Magistrates Court. I know, GB, I know. I just couldn't bring it to mind. JP Morgan, Iraq, Adrian. Oh, all that. Toga, 1969. I mean, it needs to be another live. Because I could go on all night at this rate. We can talk about Halliburton, and when they went into Iraq, what was the first thing they secured? The oil fields. And I will tell you this, I've known for 20 odd years, 9/11 was not about the Twin Towers. Within 3 days, they had given the US military tens of billions. I think it was 50 or 60 billion dollars worth of extra funding because they lost trillions of dollars somewhere that they couldn't account for trillions of dollars. Well, let me tell you, recently 6.2 billion disappeared off into Prigozhin's trouser pocket. He's probably halved it with Putin. And all this made up story about Wagner Group were chasing the Russians back to St. Petersburg, or from St. Petersburg back to Moscow. No, it was to St. Petersburg. And they just went, oh, no, we're not going to do that. And then the last 7 days, Wagner Group has become a terrorist organisation. Why? Because they trousered $6.2 billion of the CIA's money. You don't think that they're sitting in the Pentagon going, oh, lads, what we're going to do? We've lost $6.2 billion. No, they're going to be after them. And they want their pound of flesh, Shylock, mate. So 6.2 billion, who's got the money? Well, you've not seen Putin since, and Prigozhin's disappeared. Well, he died in a plane crash or a helicopter crash. And it was the Russians that told the rest of the world he's definitely been on that helicopter. Well, they would, wouldn't they? For $6.2 billion? You'd make anything up. And there's no proof that Prigozhin was actually involved in that crash, other than the Russians have told you. Come on. You can see through this, can't you? Everything stinks to think we're stupid. No, we're not. We're wise. Because all of our lives, we've had to watch these idiots do what they do. And all of a sudden, it all starts to make sense. Doesn't it? I know there are very critical thinkers that watch this channel. Stuart says, when I heard this morning, lost to the repair show, I had to switch on the next day to see the state Holly would be in. I've never seen her so sober. Look so sober. Fabulous, Stuart. Well, she might have been partying. She didn't get a NTA. Not this year. But I think we're kind of caught up, don't you? I don't. Lots of things coming. Lots of videos coming. I'm back. Just, be gentle with me. Be patient with me. I'm getting my feet under the table. There are recorded videos that were on my computer whilst I was in Peru, and I couldn't get to the computer to upload them to YouTube. So we'll get more of the usual stuff, the insightful stuff, and the radio archive uploaded over the next few days. I have some ideas. I'm going to work with a team on some of them to entertain you. Every day I am going to try and have videos uploaded to this channel. Panshop Tracy, thank you, Adrian. Welcome back. Thank you, Panshop Tracy. Junior Stevens, I'll see you Wednesday. Brilliant. And thank you to Top 69. Take it easy, Adrian. See you next time. Thank you, everyone that indulged me this evening. Thank you for your likes. Please like them. We've had over 100 people watching tonight with 60 likes. So please, if you can, just hit the like. Don't forget to subscribe and ding the bell so you know when another video is coming. I've already got 3 uploaded. They're going to come anytime. So please make sure that you get those notifications. But most of all, as always, thank you for your indulgence. KBO. And don't forget the Battenberg.